What up? Your boy MC Shadow. Now, here to talk about Tax Collector, the movie. And with spoilers and everything like that, so you don't want me to spoil the movie? You better get dipping, homie. That's how it goes down. Anywho, like I said, these are my opinions only. I don't think I'm right. Like I said, I don't got an ego. I just speak my mind and how I feel, how I see things, I only come with the real, there's no hater in my bone. You know what I mean? Like, tell it how it is. Now, with these kind of movies, right? Like the gang movies, like, and all that. These kind of like shows is meant for more for like a series, like The Sopranos and everything like that. You know what I mean? Because trying to cramp all of that into a movie is like, like if you're somebody that like cares about details and every little thing and the whole backstory and all of that, like these kind of movies, like will feel like disjointed and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because the gang life is like, like there's so much like depth to it. You know what I mean? Because you got so many different characters, and even though we're all gang members and from a gang, we it was our paths were different on how we got there. You know what I mean? So like getting like the backstories on like the main characters, and then the bad guys, and then like how did the beef start, and then how did that connect to the prison and yada yada yada. You know what I mean? Not only that, but then also cramp in all the typical Hollywood drama and romance, you know what I mean, in there, with the family, the kids, the wives, you know what I mean? It's like, that's a whole lot to put in, to a movie, like you only get, a certain amount of time. Now, the movie, it was firme, you know what I mean? Like, because I seen that it's been getting a lot of backlash and everything like that. The movie was firme, like, I'm not really into, like, these kind of, like, gangster movies or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Because, they Hollywoodize it, you know what I mean? But it was a good movie, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why people are hating, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think what it is like, what I had said, like, if you live this life, or if you know someone that lives this life, or at least you somewhat know, like, what's cracking and shit like that, then when you're watching the movie, you'll know what's happening, like, what's cracking, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't gotta be, like, not every detail has to be explained to you, like, you know what's up. But for those who don't know nothing about that life and all of that shit, like, yeah, the movie's gonna feel disjointed, you know what I mean? Not only that, like Conejo's acting was chingon. But then again, he's a gang member, so I mean, he pretty much just had to play, what he's been playing his whole entire life. So it was like another day in the office. You know what I mean? So his acting was solid. Could have had a little bit more of him in there. You know what I mean? George Lopez, he was cool. He was cool. Got his head chopped off and everything, but I mean, he was cool. Like, it had good acting, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that they gave that fool Shia LaBeouf, a hard time or whatever the fuck, I don't even know why, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no problem with his nickname being Creeper, or that he played the Raza fool and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I hear all the criticism, from these journalists or whatever the fuck, like, that shit makes no sense to me, because if you from a neighborhood, then you know what's up. You know that we have homeboys in our hood that are white and black, Asian. You know what I mean? Like, different ethnicities, but so when they're talking about like, what's up with that fool's acting and like his accent, like, come on, homie. When you from the streets, you already know what's up. Like, a majority of the homies don't even talk like that. So it's like, like he would kind of go out of character a little bit or whatever, but like, I didn't mind, homie, because talking to homeboys. I mean, that shit happens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck. You know, I guess that they were expecting him to sound like Baby Joker from the movie fucking Next Friday. You know what I mean? Because like that's how they typically want to sound. They want to sound like, damn, homie, ya sabes que, perro, homie, chancletas. Like, come on now. Like, wake up, homie. Fuck. Anyway, so you know the movie was chingon. You know, it took a while to pick up. You know, it was kind of slow. You know, in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, but the action scenes, fuck, man, those were some dope ass action scenes. You know, the slow motion and la balacera. You know what I mean? And especially the ending, because I don't give a fuck. Like I said, homie, I was gonna spoil it. Y'all wanted to watch it. You know what I mean? Homie's kid and wife dies and everything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the devil and shit like that. You know what I mean? But in real life, you don't always have that happy ending and shit like that. You know what I mean? And these are like real life scenarios that be cracking down. You know what I'm saying? But each and every movie always ends the same and shit like that. Like, and even if it doesn't, like American Me, you know, where Santana dies, and then the other one, you know, Miklo just loses a leg. Like, nah, this is not something that happened. Like, well, no, I mean, the main fool también, pero I mean, like, his family also paid the price. You know, not only like his wife, but like his child and shit. You know what I mean? And that's some gruesome shit, but that's the shit that really be happening. You know what I mean? And yeah, you could look at the individuals that do these acts and be like, fuck, man, like, these fools are fucking the worst of the worst. Yeah. You know, you're right. But, I mean, the other side put themselves in that situation as well, you know what I mean? And, you know, put their whole entire family in danger, so, I mean, double-edged sword. But like the movie, it was good, you know. Like from 1 to 10, I give it like a 6. You know what I mean? Like not something. Hey, sabes qué, homie? You gotta go watch it. Nah, you know. But like if it's on or like well, we're in quarantine, but you know, like you didn't have nothing to do, you know, like go check it out and shit like that. You know what I mean? But not something that shit's Mando. You know, like nah, it was an alright movie. You know what I mean? Not better than like. American Me or Boulevard Nights or Colors, you know what I mean? But I you know, it's good. You know what I mean? My only problem with it was like I said, like not that many action. You know what I mean? It kind of like was like slow to pick up. They, you know, like Shia LaBeouf's character, you know, like he's this like vato that's like super crazy and shit like that, but like you don't get to see it, you know what I mean? So it's like you kind of just have to like go based on like the reputation, I guess, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of whack. That and then one part that like made no sense to me, like whatsoever, like this shit made no sense to me, you know. And I'm a gangster, I'm on the streets, you know what I mean? Like, this shit made no sense to me. Was how the Bloods just, like, bend over backwards for this vato, you know what I mean? And, like, go back him up without even, like, fuck, no questions. That, you know what I mean? And that they, you know, from a different neighborhood. Not only that, they black, you know. Not only that, they Bloods. That shit was, like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like, that's what I mean, though. Like, when they make these movies about, like, gangs and shit like that, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know who the fuck they be talking to sometimes, you know what I mean? Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? But, I mean, it's a good movie, you know what I mean? You know, but, like, let's talk about, like, the gangster and the gangs in general, my opinion. You know, that was my review on that. Now let's actually talk about the actual subject, you know what I mean? Now, gangster and gangs. You know, I'm from a neighborhood, you know. Um, people, you know, and especially, you know, like reading the like the reviews on like tax collector, you know, like that way before, you know, like I seen it, you know, like let's see if it's worth the feria. The reason why actually I watched it was because all these motherfuckers were like bad mouthing it, you know, like talking all this masa and shit like that. That I was like, man, homie, like these fools are full of shit, homie. Now I really gotta see it for myself to see if it's really as bad as these motherfuckers say that it is. And nah, hell no. I think on Rotten Tomato they gave that shit like a 17 or some shit like that. Nah, these fools are full of shit, homie. That shit was at least like a 62, you know, 63 por ahí, you know what I mean? Maybe like 58, being a little generous. But you know, like, it was more good than bad, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's worth the feria and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? With the action scene, the slow motion with the balazos and everything, it's pretty dope. But, you know, like, anywho, so, you know, you're gonna have those, I'm not gonna say ignorant, because they do have kind of a point. Like when they talk about gang members and this whole lifestyle and how, like, it's ridiculous and people shouldn't glorify it and everything like that. And yeah, you know, you're right. You know what I'm saying? This lifestyle is bad and there should be better ways and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a dropout, no PC, no Christian, no, you know what I mean? Like none of that. I'm just telling the fucking God honest truth. You know what I'm saying? On how I feel, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'll still represent my neighborhood. I'll still bang my neighborhood, you know, and all of that, you know, because I already picked this life, you know what I mean? But I don't encourage the generation, you know, to follow in these footsteps. Like, nah, homie, like you don't want to go down this path, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's full of nothing but bullshit, drama, chaos, and headaches, you know what I mean? Oh, then why don't you change? Because I already picked this life. I have this weird bond to loyalty, you know, so I already made the pick. I'm committed, homie. What do you want? Anywho, I know, psychological. You know, people, they criticize and everything like that, but people have to understand one thing. Gang members themselves, they're victims. You know what I mean? Whoa, the fuck are they victims? Why you don't just see that this madre be doing and robbing? Hold the fuck on. They're victims. Before you start, you know, you're just seeing them how they are now. You know, like what's happening now. But what you should think about is how the fuck did they become that way and what led them to be that way and shit like that. You know what I mean? The reason they're like this is because they were victimized. You know what I mean? They were victims at one point that drove them to become this. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of homeboys, they love their family and their jefitas and everything like that and all of that. But our parents weren't the best of teachers, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying, you know, the blame on them, you know what I'm saying? Because they're only human too, and they have to deal with their stress and their drama, you know, especially, you know, like, you know, they don't treat the raza the best over here, you know what I mean? And that should be getting grave, so they got the problems, and to be juggling their problems and then trying to still raise somebody, you know, like in a different culture is está cabrón, you know what I mean? But they were victims, you know, so people got to see it in that sense, you know what I mean? Before they want to be yapping all this shit, you know, like, oh, these fools are lame and whack. You got to see why did they become this way and why did the gang start to begin with, you know what I mean? So think about that before you want to be yapping it. MC Shadow, and I'm out.